What if I told you that a book written 1,400 years ago contains a mathematical system so perfect it makes modern statisticians question everything they know about probability? The number 19 appears throughout the Quran in ways that cannot be explained by coincidence. This discovery, made possible only through modern computer analysis, has stunned mathematicians worldwide. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most extraordinary mathematical phenomena ever discovered, a numerical code that was hidden in plain sight for over 14 centuries, waiting for humanity to develop the technology to uncover it. But before we begin, ask yourself this question: how could a man in the 7th century Arabia, with no access to computers or advanced mathematics, embed such an intricate numerical system into a book? Let's find out. The story begins in 1968 when Egyptian-American biochemist Dr. Rashad Khalifa decided to use computers to study the Quran. What he discovered would change everything we thought we knew about this ancient text. Using IBM computers, Dr. Khalifa began counting letters, words, and verses. What emerged was a mathematical pattern so precise and comprehensive that it defied all probability. The number 19 became the key. Not only did it appear directly in the text, but it formed the foundation of an elaborate numerical system that encompasses every aspect of the Quran. The odds of this pattern occurring by chance? Mathematicians calculated it to be virtually impossible. We're talking about probabilities so small they approach zero. Let's start with the Bismillah, in the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. This phrase appears at the beginning of 113 chapters in the Quran. The first word ism, meaning name, appears in the Quran exactly 19 times. The second word Allah appears 2,698 times. That's exactly 19 times 142. The third word Ar-Rahman, meaning most gracious, appears exactly 57 times. That's 19 times. The fourth word, Ar-Rahim, meaning most merciful, appears 114 times. That's 19 times 6. But here's where it gets incredible. The total number of letters in the Bismillah is 19. The Quran has 114 chapters, which is 19 times 6, and the total number of verses in the Quran is 6,236, which is also divisible by 6 by 19th. Chapter 96, the first chapter revealed, has exactly 19 verses and 285 letters. That's 19 times. 15th, chapter 68. The second chapter revealed has 52 verses. When you add 68 plus 52, you get 120, which is divisible by 19. The last chapter revealed, chapter 110, has exactly 19 words. But wait, there's more. The Quran mentions the number 19 directly in chapter 74, verse 30, where it states, "Over it are 19." This verse is referring to the guardians of hell, but many scholars believe it's also pointing to this numerical miracle. Chapter 74 itself has some incredible properties. It's the 74th chapter, and 74 plus 19 equals 93. The chapter has 56 verses, and when you add the chapter number 74 plus the verse count 56, you get 130. Both 93 and 130 are multiples of 19th. Let's look at the opening letters of certain chapters. 29 chapters in the Quran begin with mysterious letters like Alif Lam Mim or Nun. These are called the Muqatta'at, or disconnected letters. The letter Nun appears at the beginning of chapter 68. When you count all the Nun letters in this chapter, there are exactly 133 of them. That's 19 times 7. The letters Alif Lam Mim appear at the beginning of 6 chapters. When you count these letters throughout these 6 chapters, Alif appears 4,502 times, Lam appears 3,204 times, and Mim appears 2,195 times. The total is 9,901, which equals 19 times 521. Chapter 19 itself, named Maryam after the Virgin Mary, contains incredible numerical patterns. The word Maryam appears 34 times in the entire Quran, and when you add the chapter number 19 plus 34, you get 53. and 53 is a prime number, just like 19. The chapter about Moses, chapter 20, begins with the letters Ta-Ha. These two letters appear in this chapter exactly 893 times combined, which is 19 times 47. Here's something that will blow your mind. If you write down the chapter numbers of all 29 chapters that begin with mysterious letters, then concatenate them into one giant number, that number is divisible by 19. The word Quran itself appears in the Quran exactly 58 times in its singular form. 58 is not divisible by 19, but when you add the 10 times it appears in other forms, you get 68, which is not divisible by 19 either. However, the Arabic root Qra, from which Quran comes, appears in all its forms exactly 133 times, and that's 19 times 7. The word month appears 12 times in the Quran. The word day appears 365 times. The word days in plural appears 30 times. All of these reflect our calendar system perfectly. But here's the kicker. The phrase seven heavens appears exactly 7 times. The word angels and devils each appear 88 times. The words this world and the hereafter each appear 115 times. The mathematical precision doesn't stop there. The Quran has 6,236 verses. If you add up all the verse numbers of every verse in the Quran, that's 1 plus 2 plus 3, all the way up to the last verse number, you get a number that's divisible by 19. Some critics argue that you can find numerical patterns in any large text if you look hard enough. But the mathematical complexity and consistency of the 19-based system in the Quran is unprecedented. Dr. Khalifa spent decades verifying these patterns with multiple computer systems. Independent researchers have confirmed his findings using modern computational methods. The mathematical probability of all these patterns occurring by chance has been calculated by statisticians to be essentially 0. We're talking about odds so astronomical that they exceed the number of atoms in the observable universe. What makes this even more remarkable is that Arabic in the 7th century had no numerical system for complex calculations. The Arabic numerals we use today weren't even adopted by Arabs until centuries later. Yet somehow, this intricate mathematical code was embedded into every level of the text, from individual letters to complete chapters, from word counts to verse arrangements. Is this proof of divine authorship? That's for you to decide. But one thing is certain. The numerical system in the Quran represents one of the most sophisticated mathematical phenomena ever discovered in any text, ancient or modern. The number 19, considered sacred in many traditions, seems to be the master key that unlocks layer after layer of mathematical harmony in this 1,400-year-old book. Whether you approach this as a believer, a skeptic, or simply someone fascinated by mathematical mysteries, the precision and consistency of these patterns is undeniably extraordinary. The Quran itself challenges humanity to produce something like it. After 14 centuries, with all our advanced computers and mathematical knowledge, we still cannot fully comprehend the depth of the numerical system embedded within its pages. What do you think? Is this the greatest mathematical miracle in human history, or an incredible coincidence that defies all probability? The numbers speak for themselves, but the interpretation, that's up to you.